Well, hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm Claire. This is Purple Poppy. And very unlike yesterday, I'm coming to you from a very bright and sunny Kent in the UK. This weather's madness, I tell you. Anyway, it's Friday. We're on Postcards Home. This is our little prelude to the weekend. Now, obviously, last week we had Halloween. So that would have been Friday the 27th. And I've got a very specific message that I want to put on this one. Because I did something totally innocent this week. And not only was it totally innocent, it was very definitely not intended to offend anybody or upset anybody, and yet I had a message saying that somebody was very put out by what I'd done and asking me if I could undo it. Now, those of you that have been around a while or know me personally will know that this bothered me tremendously. So much so that I actually pondered on it for a few days. And I've just put for this week, beware, your actions have consequences. But part of the reason that I'm sharing this with you, because obviously it's not necessarily something you need to know about, is because, as you know, I always go shopping on a Friday and fill the larder before I do my video. And something else happened this morning while I was in the supermarket, and that reminded me of this thing. Now, before I tell you about that, let's look at what we're going to do today. Now, I have done a scan of this. Actually, I lie, it's not a scan, it's a photograph that I then printed. Did a photograph of this. This is one of the spine wraps that I mentioned the other day. I'll talk to you more about that in another video. So I've taken a photograph and I want to cut this to go onto my card, but I thought it would be really nice to make it 3D, so I've brought along some of the lace that I actually used to make the original piece, and I'm going to put it on top and make it 3D. So that's my plan for today, and hopefully that's something that you guys might want to try with something that you've photographed. If you watched my short and simple, I think that was last week, where we did the design your own digikits, just from simply, you know, scanning a group of items or photographing them. I've cut that so I know where to line up my piece. Okay, so then I'm going to use my purple glue and I'm going to just run glue all the way around my postcard. So yeah, so I've been to the supermarket, I'd done all my shopping, and I'd loaded it into the car, and I'd pulled my car out of its space now into the lane. Now, in this particular supermarket car park, they are dual way lanes, yeah. So I pulled in to the lane to drive out of the car park, and I realised that there was a man reversing his car into a space on what would have been the opposite side. So hang on one second, let me do this and then I'll... There we go. So it's like being in court, this, isn't it? So I was parked here, and I've driven into the lane. He was coming up here and wanted to reverse into that space there. Very simple activity, shouldn't be complicated at all, okay? But what happened was, while I sat there patiently waiting for him to reverse, no problem, we all have to, you know, do it. So he's here trying to reverse into this space here, okay? He's got halfway round, the guy in this space here has pulled out and wedged round him to drive away. No patience, no care or thought for anyone else. And because I was waiting, he looked up at me, the guy that was reversing, and shrugged. He was obviously aware that I was watching. Anyway, he carried on reversing, and hey presto, another car comes from the lane behind, pulls all the way through and parks next to the space that he's trying to reverse into. Well, that in itself is not really a major problem, except there's then immediately opened the door. So he's now had to stop again to make sure obviously that he doesn't reverse into their door. Now, again, he's looked at me and shrugged, and I smiled, and we both had like a little giggle. But while I was watching this, it reminded me of this thing that I was telling you about, how I apparently offended somebody this week and how devastating it was to me. And I thought to myself, do you know what? What I did was a totally innocent thing with absolutely zero malice or intention to upset anyone or anything like that at all. And yet, once I was made aware of it, I was uncomfortable about that for a good 2 or 3 days. And yet these two people have deliberately crossed the paths of this other driver. Deliberately. Not necessarily with malice, but definitely with forethought. And I can guarantee they won't give it a second thought. So, you know, the moral of the story there is, you got some people who try and get it wrong and find themselves in trouble for it, and then you got other people who don't try and just wander around as if nothing's happened. There you go. So that's my thought of the day, hence this message that I've put on here. Anyway, enough of that. Now, I know that the fabric goes that way. Doesn't really make much difference, I suppose, but it's just these two pieces here that I want to do. These are the two fabrics that I've bought. So I've got my lovely little sharp scissors, and I'm going to cut out, it's one of the big ones, isn't it? Yes, I'm going to cut out this one of these big flowers. And this is something I think I've said to you before, in that it's only my opinion, but in my opinion you get so much, not only more use, but a much more desirable effect when you cut into your lace like this than you do when you just cut a square. Many times when I watch YouTube, and I mean, to each their own, you know, it's your lace, it's your life, and it's not for me to tell you what to do with it, really. But many times on YouTube, I watch, you know, and people are doing something with lace, and they just chomp out a square, and they cut right through the middle of a flower. And I'm like, really? Because here we go again, you know, different people think in different ways. And to me, it's the most obvious thing in the world to follow a natural line. Now, whether that natural line be around the flower, whether it be on a straight line, because like this this lace here, for example, that's an old net curtain, yeah, there's a natural line there. Cut a square piece out of that. I can't help myself. It's just, you know, why would you do that? Anyway, I've got my flower. Okay, there's a bit of lace there in the middle that I've missed, so I will trim that out. And there's another bit there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put my flower on there. Obviously I am going to have to cut this one in half because that's the way it is. And then I want to look at this. So we've got the flower in the middle. Flower in the middle. I don't know if I've got enough of this actually in this piece, but we're going to give it a good go. So I'm going to cut really wide so that, because what is it? My grandma always used to say, you can take more off but you can't add it back. So we're going to trim too much on the bases that we can always trim it further if need be. Now you can see it's a clothing label. It's one of my charity shop finds. In fact, I think I showed you this in its complete format. Right, let's have a look. So there's the flowery bit. The leaf goes that way. So there's the flowery bit. See, it's weird, isn't it? It's that bit there. Look, there you go. It's obviously bigger. So if that's that one there, because it's got the extra. Alright, we need that flower coming out there like that. I know I'm being a bit over finicky here, aren't I? But it's just the way I'm rolling today, if you like. That's the big round one that goes there. That goes there. And that goes there like that. There we go. So that goes like that, and that will cover it up. So that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to trim round there. I'm going to trim round here like this. So, has anybody got anything planned for this weekend? It's obviously fireworks night, isn't it? Right, so my flower is going to go there like that. Yeah, it's obviously fireworks night, so I'm sure there's lots and lots of displays that people will be going to. We're not going to any displays. I don't believe the grandchildren are either, to be honest. We're a family of dogs, so obviously we've all got dogs that need that little bit of extra attention while the fireworks are going on. So years ago, when we didn't have dogs, we used to go to displays, and there is one particular place near Tunbridge. I don't know if they do it anymore, but years ago, if you live in the Kent area of the UK, years ago they used to do what they called a gala Victorian firework display, I believe is what it was called. And the fireworks were always set off to music from something like, I need to spread that glue out a bit. I was looking for my spreader, but I don't know where it is, so I'll use this. The fireworks were always set off to Disney music, so things like Fantasia, and there was always a Victorian style funfair as well, and it was awesome, absolutely awesome. They had the big old wooden, you know, the Victorian merry-go-round, gallopers. What were they called? I don't know what they were actually called back then, but anyway, well, we've always called them gallopers. I don't know what they were really called. You know, the wooden horses that go round in a circle, and they had like helter-skelters, all the real old traditional stuff, and the wooden swing boats, and it used to be absolutely fabulous. And yeah, we went there many years. You can see that I put too much glue in that, it's gone a bit transparent. Anyway, so yeah, it was all really good. So if you're, oh, Greenbridge Place, is it? It's one of these I want to say Trust House 40, I don't know if that's right. One of these organisations that looks after old buildings anyway. National Trust type thing, you know. There you go. So we've just made it three-dimensional by overlapping the flowers. Or, yeah, the lace flowers. I love it. I think it's quite good. There you go. There's a novel idea for you. If you've, you know, put some stuff together to make your own digikit, take a photograph of, you could then, oh, I didn't do that very dark, did I? Can't really do it again because I'll end up with it all over the place. Then you could use some of what you grouped, depending on what it is. I mean, obviously, if you used, as I did in my example, a jar of peppercorns, you probably wouldn't want to put them on, but just an idea. There you go. Happy crafting, stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye for now.